Hello and welcome to today's English lesson. My name is Stuart. In today's lesson, we're looking at contrast links in English. Let's go to the intro. Now, as I said, today's lesson is looking at contrast links, and what we're doing here is we are contrasting two facts or ideas. Contrasting, not contradicting, but contrasting the two ideas in a sentence. And to do that, we can use these linking words. So we have 1, 2, 3 different types of linking words that we can use to contrast these ideas, either in the same sentence or in two separate sentences, as we will see in the examples. So let's have a look at the lesson. Now, before we begin, this lesson will come in handy if you're looking to improve your speaking skills or your writing skills in English by using these contrast linking words or phrases as we have here, okay? So let's begin. Now, the first one we're looking at is while and whereas. While and whereas. Now, these two words can be used exactly the same, okay? We can substitute one for the other. So we'll have a look at two examples, well, three examples, because I want to show you a difference with while. So the first example sentence is, my friends like to party, whereas I prefer a more quiet lifestyle. Okay? So we're contrasting the two. My friends like to party, whereas while I prefer a more quiet lifestyle. I don't like to party. I don't like to go out as much as my friends. Okay? So they like to party, whereas or while I prefer a more quiet lifestyle. Now here we're using whereas, but as I said in the examples there, we could substitute whereas here for while quite easily, okay? And we're using it here in the second clause. And here we can see that we can also use while or whereas at the beginning of a sentence as well. In this sentence here, the substitute is but. My friends like to party, but I prefer a more quiet lifestyle. But here it's a little bit different when we use it at the beginning. So while New Zealand has a small population, Australia's is a lot bigger. So while or whereas at the beginning of the sentence here. So whereas New Zealand has a small population, Australia's is a lot bigger. So we'll just highlight those options that we have here, while and whereas. We can interchange the two, as I said. Now this third sentence here, I visited Rome while I was in Italy, okay? We're not using while in the same sense as we are here, okay? Here we're using while and whereas to contrast, but here it means during, okay? So we're going to put an asterisk next to this. I visited Rome while I was in Italy. Here, while means during, okay? So during my trip to Italy, I visited Rome. So it's a different meaning there. Don't get confused about while in this type of sentence as a contrast or to mean during in the third sentence here, okay? So be careful with the two. Now the second one here is on the one hand and on the other hand, okay? Now we can use these two in the same sentence. I have an example of that here, or we can use this one here individually. So let's have a look at the examples. On the one hand, I'd like to quit my job and travel, but on the other hand, I realize I need to be responsible, okay? So here again, we're contrasting. On the one hand, okay, I'd like to quit my job and travel. I'd like to not have any responsibilities, travel around the world, not have to worry about job, work and that type of thing, okay? But on the other hand, I realize that I need to be responsible. I need to be responsible to pay the bills, okay? So I can't just quit my job and travel. I need to be responsible, stay here and keep on working, okay? So here we are contrasting. On the one hand, but on the other hand. So we're contrasting the two, as we can see. Now in this sentence here, we're only using this one. So John is happy with 2 kids. His wife, on the other hand, would like a couple more. So John has 2 kids. He's happy. He doesn't want any more. But on the other hand, his wife would like a couple more. She'd like 2 more children, okay? She wants to increase the size of the family, but John doesn't. So we're contrasting the 2 points of view of those 2 people. John's happy with 2 kids, doesn't want any more, but his wife, on the other hand, would like a couple more. Contrasting, all right? Now the last one is by contrast and in contrast. Now these two are the same, so it doesn't matter whether you put by or in, so we can use them in the same way. Let's have a look at the sentences. Bank stocks continue to perform badly. Tech stocks, by contrast, show no limits to their growth, okay? So tech stocks, by contrast to bank stocks, show no limit to their growth, okay? So by contrast. The next one, John had a humble upbringing. In contrast, his wife's childhood could not have been more luxurious, okay? So we saw John here. He had a humble upbringing. His childhood was humble, okay? His wife, on the other hand, the lady here that wants a couple more kids, she had a luxurious childhood. Her parents were rich. John's parents weren't rich, so we're contrasting the 2 childhoods that these people had. So John had a humble upbringing. In contrast, his wife's childhood could not have been more luxurious, okay? So we're contrasting the 2, as I said. So 1, 2, 3, while and whereas, on the one hand, on the other hand, by contrast, in contrast, contrasting links when we're looking at 2 facts or ideas in English. Now thank you very much for watching the lesson. Questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. Share the video with your friends on social media, please. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. I'll see you in the next English video lesson. Have a good day. Bye.